Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to version 1.8 of my super train station. It is slowly but surely getting bigger. I am loving it. The most recent update was about 2 months, well actually, by the time it goes out it'll be about 4 months ago. But this is quite the something to behold. I'm actually quite impressed with how this version turned out. There are 4 new modifications from its previous incarnation as 1.4, now this is 1.8. So the first thing, well the major thing really that changed was this side of the platform is now a double-sided platform, which now houses my narrow gauge track, which is absolutely exciting because introducing narrow gauge to my LEGO Railway was a very big step for me, as it's a whole new gauge, new build ideas, new designs. And of course I do want to incorporate it to this station. And with that kind of expanding, I've added this little tiny platform here just to kind of fill that space. Over here by the ticket booth, the kind of ticket booth building itself has been removed. I've still got the entire building intact put to a side. That has been rebuilt. And the building on top is actually the signal box that has been integrated. And whilst it's not the best looking signal box, it's not too bad. It's very clean, matches the architecture. We will get a closer look at that in just a moment, but first of all I want to start off with these 2 platforms here. So whilst these are now bigger, there really isn't that much to look at. I mean, you get what it is instantly, but the platforms are still quite barren. Is that the right word? Yeah, I've already said it, let's go with it. So just to put it kind of this way, they are pretty much the same thing. I think this one's slightly longer than this one. Is it? Yeah, thought so. There's like a whole pattern detail longer. There is a detail here with a fence. I will go into that in just a moment as that links to the small platform that I showed off earlier. But just to quickly show why I'm doing this, I had 2 bricklink orders made before the whole pandemic thing. And it had loads of these curved pieces. To get a better view of them, I've actually got them here on the end. Try to make this end piece look nice and tidy. I'm going to have to get rid of this grey piece here because whilst that's holding these all in place, essentially, it's kind of weird to see it all stand out there. So in time, some of the grey pieces will disappear. And you know, there's a good time to mention this too. So these are 4 wide plates. I want to bring these out to 6 wide. Try and slope this upwards, make it again look nice and clean and tidy. And so yeah, that's going to be another update in the future, version 1.9 at least. But this is just its own thing. I do want to have this sort of thing going across the entire roof of the platform, but these beams across here are because I didn't have enough. Now that was with 1 bricklink order and all the parts I had spare. The second bricklink order still has all of its parts in the box. And that is with my other LEGO trains, and in time I will have to kind of dig into that and see if I can remove some of these sections here, because it doesn't look too bad. It's nice and organized. It's red, as I've got loads of red lining going across the top here and of course along the sides of the platforms themselves. It's just, you know, this chunky section in the middle, it looks kind of weird. So yeah, one day that is going to have to be removed, and hopefully having this sort of wing sort of design, I don't know what I would call this, but having that going across the entire thing, I hope it's strong enough and it doesn't kind of just peel apart like that. If you know what I mean, then that's a good thing. It's a bit difficult to kind of describe with just one hand. So just to turn it around again, the platforms themselves aren't really exciting. The windows have been shuffled around. As you can see, there is some bit of a space there. I'll show you what's on the other side in just a moment. But there are also these sort of wall pieces here to cut off where the windows kind of start and end, because as it's now going to be connected to other pieces, that will be removed from the entire unit, as you can move it around for packaging sakes and like potentially take it to a convention, which is something I want to do. I need to make sure it can come apart nice and easily, but also look good as it does that. Now, because of how things are placed on this side, I may as well show you this now. So again, nothing too special. I found these sort of 2x6 pieces. They're like window shaped pieces, but these have got some old advertisement stickers on them. I thought, you know what, that's another thing I could use to bring a bit more colour, a bit more life into this station. On this side, I have a timetable. We got another passenger just having a look just to move them away so you can have a look for yourselves. That is one of the pieces that you get from an official LEGO train set. I don't know which one specifically, but that is fairly common. So yeah, again, it's an empty platform. There isn't that much really going on. I've got loads of minifigures I can add to spruce the place up, but in terms of other colours and details like the timetable and the advertisements here, there really isn't that much else I can add. So back to what I was about to say earlier. I'm not going to actually connect these together because it's a nightmare to do with one hand, as it is to take them apart. But you can see there, I've had to do this because obviously if I try and do odds and evens and deciding how far these gaps are going to be, it's a bit weird. That timetable thing is here on that side, which is why that side is empty. And trying to decide how many windows are going to go along here compared to how many going to go along there. To try and make it look even, try and make it look somewhat presentable, it was a bit difficult. So whilst it's not the best thing ever, in time that will, of course, change. But nonetheless, that is the narrow gauge end of the station now. That's pretty much it. There really isn't that much else to really go from. That is one of the benches that I took from the inside. I think it was from this actual piece. Again, it's just something to liven it up a little bit. It's nice to see these sort of colourful things against something that's grey and white. It's not particularly exciting. Now then, let's talk about this fence area. So, sorry, I was looking away from the camera for a moment. I didn't realise I did that. So the walkway is going to be placed here. That's going to go across like that. That has currently remained unchanged, but there are modification plans for that in the future. And since there was this kind of gap here, I thought I've seen on some stations have this sort of staff-only area in order to get to like beyond the railway to talk to one of the drivers on the train who's like further up the line or deal with some of the rolling stock or maybe work on one of the points. So I made this small platform end piece. So I think I can actually get away with connecting this because it's not too difficult. You know, I need two hands. There we are. So that is the entire piece connected. It's the smallest piece of the station now, and the fence works just as it would normally. And yeah, again, this is the sort of idea where railway staff members can just chill out here for a moment or even go down beyond the railway line to work on some of the more important things with the railway. And yeah, it's just a nice little detail that isn't going to be noticed too much, but if it wasn't there, you'd notice that space. That's what I kind of describe it as. Originally, I didn't have this planned at all, but after again, this was the last thing that I made. So once I had the whole unit made and the platform were extended outwards, this just odd rectangular space was there and I had to fill it. And this, I think, has done it quite well. And may as well quickly, just one more thing before I go to the next upgrade. So we've got those two there. I'm not going to put them together because it does take a while. Got some narrow gauge track just to give you an idea of what that will look like in the future. Well, my legs in the shot. There we go. So yeah, that is the narrow gauge side of the station now put together. Of course, in time that will expand, but for now, let's look at the new ticket booth and signal box. Oh, I like this area quite a lot. It has a lot going on, and it was a very interesting upgrade. Let's start off with the ticket booth. This is now much thinner. This previously came up to about here, maybe? Something like that. It was a lot wider, but now it's long and thin, and whilst I've been able to keep some of the interior details, whilst there wasn't that many interior details, it is all still there. We've got the two desks. One of them is a restaurant or cafe. Because I'm using white bricks, I was able to find an old piece that said restaurant, so I chucked that in straight away. And then we have this desk over here where you actually buy the tickets. Now we have this odd thing going on, and I can't explain what this is, but this is just something to hold up a platform in order to get to the signal box, which I wanted to put on top of the ticket booth. This is on purpose. whilst the not the ticket booth, whilst the signal box should kind of be its own unit, whilst it's always pretty much been its own thing beyond the train station, the overall size of this station in the coming years, when it's absolutely massive, will have multiple layers. So this, for now, sits there, but as time goes on, I want it to sit about here, which is definitely something that I want to do in the future, but this is just a stepping stone. And for easy and logical access on the platform, you see you just go through the ticket booth, make your way up the stairs, and then you are here. So yes, as you can see, this is removable. There are plenty of smooth tile bricks there to allow the studded tiles to sit in place for a nice and easy removal. Inside, it looks so much better. I've taken out interior details from the previous signal box and the one I used to integrate into this. The window details look quite spectacular, if I do say so myself. I wasn't too sold on this, but once I started using them, I thought, you know what, this can really work. So inside we have another map of railway lines. It's a slightly larger one that you saw on the platform. We have a computer desk, we have a clock, we have some smaller black windows just for the sake of a bit of consistency, because these are the ones that I use over the rest of my station. If you look over to this side, there isn't really too much to look at. Obviously this massive wall here isn't particularly good. I want to see if I can get a sticker or something to go there, like advertisement or something. But that makes sense because of this detail here. And yeah, that is... oh yeah, and these levers. So the levers are the sort of thing that would activate switches up and down the line, but only 4 is all I can really muster, again, because that's something I pinched from the previous iteration of the signal box. And since this was easy to take off, I thought I may as well try and keep it so the roof is easy to take off. And it works in the same way, where there's a bunch of smooth tiles with some spaces for some studded tiles to sit this roof on. All in all, I think it looks quite amazing. It's a bit odd and takes a bit of getting used to, but again, the architecture does match, keeping the white and grey sort of theme to it. You can see this massive sort of grey chunky area. I am working on getting that fixed. Again, in time this is going to be upgraded and changed anyway, so I'm not too fussed about that. But it looks better. It's one of the bigger parts of the station and it has life to it. I love that so much. So there we go, that is all of the updates and changes I've made to my train station. The super train station, as I should say. That is the official name for this. Bit of a selfish or egotistical name, but the idea of the end game for this station to be absolutely massive will suit that super part of the name. So that's all that's changed. If you have a quick peek over there, we got the... what do I call this? Or the... bollocks, I forgot the name for it. But the big unit over there where the... I was about to say, I can't remember what that's called. That's actually quite embarrassing. But that remains unchanged, and another piece of the station also remains unchanged. There are some more of those advertisement pieces, but that's nothing really relevant. So, yeah, this is version 1.8 of the Super Train Station. Updates like this will come out every so often. I kind of jump between other hobbies, and when it comes to building with this station, it's quite a blast because it's so different. I rarely do buildings, but to put everything into one massive building like this, it is a very fun project, and I hope you like it. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all ever so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you all in the next episode. Bye.